What's up, XDefiant fans? It is Preach as always. So today's video, we are going to go over today's patch notes that just came out, along with talk about some other changes that are coming in future patch notes. And some of this stuff is really, really awesome. You may have already caught that in the title and the thumbnail, but I think you guys are going to enjoy the changes that they made today and enjoy the changes that are coming in the future. I know I sure am. Speaking of things that you enjoy, if you guys enjoy this video, you already know what to do. Smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new here, and turn those bell notifications on if you want to know every time I post a new video. Now let's go ahead and jump on into these patch notes. So they said if you thought we wouldn't do another patch in preseason, you thought wrong. Read more of what is changing in today's update. So gameplay changes. They said they sped up the process of unlocking weapon attachments by lowering the amount of XP needed to level up your primary weapon from 3,500 to 3,000 and your secondary weapon from 1,500 to 1,000. Now, this is something that I have been hoping for, and I knew because of a tweet Mark Rubin put out that they were going to be updating these weapon levels, but I wasn't sure exactly how that was going to work. But something even cooler, they went on to say this change is retroactive, meaning your existing weapon levels will likely be even higher now. Pause for polite applause. So, guns that you have already started to level up, instead of when you log back in, instead of them being where you left them, these changes are going to be retroactive. So for every 3,000 points you scored, you're going to have a level instead of every 3,500 points you score. So without doing anything additional, you're just going to log back in, and every gun you've used is probably going to be several levels higher than it was before. This is awesome. That's a huge thing that I really did not expect. And honestly, huge props to the development team for this, because they're really helping us out here, because these levels went up really slow. And when it came to unlocking attachments, it was honestly a grind to make some of the guns that aren't as good become good. Like for me, the Vector, that thing melts right up close, but anything more than like 5 feet away, you run out of ammo pretty much immediately, and it definitely does not melt at all. Anything except for the bullets out of the magazine. So I'll be glad to get extended mags and a barrel on that a whole lot faster now. They also said, though, to counterbalance this, speedier access to performance-enhancing attachments and provide a greater challenge to the community, weapon mastery level requirements have increased. So you're going to have to go past level 50, 75, 100 to get the bronze, silver, and gold camos. But they did say that they're not going to take these away for players who have already unlocked them. They said, we're not monsters. So that's pretty cool. I think it's fine to take longer to open those, because what you really run into there is those are supposed to be something that is really special. Those are supposed to be something that make you work for them, because you get to show the community, I really grinded out this gun. And so now when somebody sees somebody with a gold gun, they're going to know, like, that dude really went all out to get there. So I think that's a good change overall, especially since we get the attachments faster. Now, they also said that they made changes to the netcode where they improved how quickly your health reacts when being shot, which should reduce the feeling of being shot behind walls. So I guess what this is saying is that you were taking those shots before you went behind the wall, but your health wasn't reacting, so that's why it felt like you died once you went behind the wall. So this is a good change. You're not going to get behind the wall, feel like, oh man, they shot me around the wall, that's unfair, I shouldn't have died. That's going to take away a lot of that kind of thing. And this is a good change and something we've all been asking for. So that is huge. Now, weapons. They said they have weapon changes where players wielding the MDR while strutting around in the Firestorm skin were experiencing an abnormal level of recoil, which has been reset to the normal recoil, so strut away. Now, the Firestorm skin is the level 50 Battle Pass skin, and if you haven't seen it, when you shot that gun with that skin on it, dude, your recoil was everywhere. It was nothing like playing with the normal MDR. So now they have reduced that to being just like the normal MDR. So now you can use that really cool skin that you earned without having an in-game punishment for using it. With the factions, they said they restored the decorum of lying down when dead to players who previously remained on their feet after dying while under the influence of Libertad's Medico Supremo Ultra. I personally don't know that I have ever noticed this, but I guess players under that effect, when they got killed, their body stayed standing. And I can see where that would be a problem, because if you don't realize you killed them, maybe you waste a bunch of extra bullets on somebody that's already dead. That's a weird one. I'm glad they got it fixed. And they said miscellaneously they fixed additional crashes. So I don't know what those crashes were, but thankfully they have gotten those taken care of. Now, those were all of the primary things that were done within the game, and they made changes with the patch notes already today. But there are some things with future patch notes and future things coming to the game that I want to discuss. So we're going to jump into that with something that's been driving me nuts for weeks. And that is the spider drone that is supposed to jump on your face, actually shocking you from behind or on the ground instead of jumping on your face, and in locations where you cannot see it to shoot it or melee it or anything. And when it does this, your teammates are also unable to shoot it off of you. The confirmation that this is an unintended bug came in a response from Mark Rubin to my own tweet, which honestly I thought was pretty cool. I tweeted, "Is the spider bot supposed to stun you without ever jumping on you? Because that is impossible to melee counter, and it feels like a glitch, but it keeps happening." And Mark Rubin replied to me, "That's a bug. We're working on a fix." Honestly, thank the Lord that this was a bug and not something that was intended. I truly hate the entire existence of the spider bot, but it will be a lot less annoying with this being fixed. Also, to go along with the spider bot, the developers have said that they are constantly monitoring the abilities and how they are used and how they affect the game, and that there are possibilities of balance changes coming to the abilities. And while we aren't sure what those balance changes will be, this is something that I'm glad that they're paying attention to. The devs have also stated they're watching how the recent change to bunny hopping is working, and that reducing it to the third jump before the penalty kicks in is something that is in consideration by the development team. Depending on the data they are gathering, there is some potential that we could see another future nerf coming to the bunny hopping. One of the other most annoying things that can happen to you in any FPS game is AFK players or players leaving the game early, making your life much more difficult if they were your teammates. The dev team has said that they are looking into ways to either punish players for doing this or potentially reward players even more for staying in game and completing the game. Personally, I think this will work better as a reward system for staying as opposed to a penalty for leaving, because there are some possible valid reasons to back out of a game if something is occurring in your real life at the moment. For example, if my new baby wakes up, I might need to back out and go take care of her. I don't want to be punished for that. But honestly, if they do implement this as a punishment for the player leaving, that is still way better than how it is currently working. The next thing is something that comes directly from my wish list video. When I made that video, I said that one of the things I would love to see coming into the game is kill cams. I explained my reasoning in that video, so I'm not going to rehash that here in this video. It's long enough as is. But the developers have confirmed that kill cams are a feature that will be added into a future patch. Honestly, I also have another idea for how to give more weapon XP and how it can help us in the game unlock things faster, but actually make the gameplay itself better overall. And that is to give weapon XP for whatever gun you are holding while you are on the objective in any mode, and give additional XP for every kill from the objective or every time you kill the enemy off of the objective. This would create more incentive for players to play the objective during the game instead of purely going for kills, because kills and assists are currently the only way to gain weapon XP, which leads to players caring even less than they normally would about playing the objective and winning the game. Now, I know we have already talked about a lot of bugs in this video, both that have been patched today and that are going to be patched in the future, but there's one more that's a pretty divisive topic within the community that I want to talk about. Before XDefiant released, the developers said that we would not have disbanding lobbies. Yet since the beginning, our lobbies disband and we go back into matchmaking at the end of every single game. This is a feature that games with heavy SBMM or EOMM use to help ensure that lobbies are always optimized to make you have as close to a 1.0 KD as possible, and that is why people are throwing a fit about it in XDefiant. The devs have confirmed that this is a bug within their matchmaking and have said that they are working on a patch for it. Lobbies that stay together are how I met some of my real life friends. Several matches in a row playing against each other and on the same team led to PlayStation friend requests, which led to partying up, which led to exchanging numbers to know when we were going to be online, which led to what have become real life friendships, and disbanding lobbies do away with things like that. So I'm glad that this is something that is going to be fixed. Now, the last thing I want to cover kind of goes hand in hand with the non-disbanding lobbies, and that is that they're going to be adding post-match game chat that will allow us to talk to players on the opposing team after the game has ended. This will definitely lead to some insane trash talk, but may also lead to some of the connections and friendships that I mentioned earlier. Now, personally, I think all of the changes both made today and the ones talked about coming in the future are great changes, and I love that we have the development team and a leader in Mark Rubin who really want to make this game as good as they possibly can for their player base. To me, it is so refreshing to know that everything is out in the open and that they are willing to test things out to find out if we like them or not, instead of being hard stuck on the "that's how we made it, and if you don't like it, that's tough" mentality that Infinity Ward seems to have with their last several Call of Duty titles. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, you guys like the changes, dislike the changes, whatever it is, let me know in the comments section below. And make sure and smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new here, and turn those bell notifications on if you want to know every time I post a new video. And I'll catch you in the next one. Preach out.